sitting down with Carson Foster and Luke Hobson, among other accolades, silver medalists in the 800 free relay. So just first off, let's start there with tonight. Can you take me through that relay? Obviously, there was some big competition there, and as the defending world champs, how did you feel about your swims and the relay as a whole?
I didn't start off, led off. Definitely not my best split ever. But I knew that these boys would take care of it, and I'm super proud of all of them. And they had a great race, and Great Britain they're a solid team, and I think we gave it a good effort, and happy with the way it ended.
Yeah, I think it's more the same for me. I was really happy with my split, but overall just very happy with how we fought. And I think everyone on the relay has had kind of like except for Luke. Luke's been balling out in the 2-3 all year, but like everyone in the relays kind of had an up and down. I guess Jake didn't either. Me and Kieran have kind of had up and down meets, and so to come out and like
All three of us.
yeah. And but just for us to all come together and get a silver and really push them. I think that was like, obviously we love to win, and like we always want to win, but like just the excitement and the thrill of like getting into a race like that, it is exciting, and we get to bring home a silver medal, and we want to get gold next year. But that's just, I remember like I just was trying to take it in, just being in that race and watching them finish it off. It was a very cool moment.
That might have been the race of the meet so far for me. I mean, when Kieran and Dean dove in, I was just like, freaking out, like this is must see TV. This was the most entertaining race, I think, of this meet, because it was so close, and you guys were just pushing them the whole way. So it was just fun to watch as a fan of swimming. So yeah, congrats on that accomplishment. Luke, I'll go back to you, but I guess same question for both of you. Just, you mentioned you have had up and down meets. Can you just kind of take me through your experience in Fukuoka so far, and how you feel like your individual meets have gone, both the ups and the downs?
Yeah, so I mean, that was my first time ever swimming prelim, semi, and final of the 200 free. So I think just learning that whole lineup and just taking it all in and learning a lot at this meet. And it's a lot. It's a lot of racing. You got to be on every single one. It's not easy, but I think I've learned a lot and can take from what I learned here and apply it to next year. And I think next year is going to be really good for that relay and individual events for me as well.
I would say it's again, similar to Luke. I think obviously started off very well for me in the 4 a.m. I was happy with that swim. I definitely think I got kind of lost in the no man's land that last 100 of the 4 a.m. Just being in a spot where I knew I wasn't going to catch Leon once I turned for freestyle, but also I knew I wasn't going to get caught by anyone. I just didn't have that extra gear to go to. And so it was pretty funny that I actually tied my best time out of 8 laps. Like it's awesome because that's a really good time for me, but also I was like, could have been 1/100 faster. But overall, that was good. And then I think I was moving really well through all the swims. I knew that this meet was going to be a challenge with all the swims I had. And I knew that it was going to be a little bit more of load management than last year. And I was really, really proud of how I was moving through the rounds. 2 fly was a little bit of a setback. And it wasn't as like, I wasn't tired. It was more of like, I just dove in, and my fly, I rely so much on rhythm, and I just didn't have the rhythm that race, which is frustrating, but it's just how some of those races go. And, it's hard to have 9 really awesome swims. But then I was proud of how I bounced back in the 2 a.m. So I kind of ended that night on a high, and then 2 a.m. final was very disappointing. Just because I know I'm better than what I showed in the pool that night. But Again, these meets are just as mentally exhausting as physically, and to be able to like get up time and time again for all 9 races and up 8 races at that point and being locked in for every single one, it's hard. And I'm very thankful that the coaches trusted me to be on the relay tonight. I wasn't sure if they were gonna put me on it up until 1 o'clock today after the prelim. So I was very thankful that I got another shot to end my meet the way that I wanted to.
Yeah. And I guess just, some takeaways, Luke, you mentioned just a lot of learning, and Carson, as you said, more swims than you've ever had in an international meet or meet like this that's 8 days. Just what do you feel like you guys are going to take away, or things that you've already learned from this experience, which I'm still in disbelief how long this meet is. And as you said, Carson, how emotionally draining it can be. We're talking about NCAAs earlier in the year, and that's a 3.5-day meet, and we're 6 days through, and there's still 2 more days, right?
Yeah, I think, like I said, like learning, I think we're kind of learning how much I can handle. And I think tonight kind of actually changed the way I looked at that. Like going after the 2 IM last night, I was like, all right, maybe pushing 3 events if they're all over 200s plus a relay might be a lot for me. And just how much mental energy I put into every swim just because I care so much. But tonight showed me that I am capable of handling it. It's just getting that experience of handling it. And I think that I'm walking away not with the results that I think I had kind of hoped for going into this meet, but I definitely am learning and getting that great experience. And I think me and the coaches will sit down and discuss kind of what the game plan will be for next year, heading into, because trials will be the same way as hopefully the Olympics. It'll be the same amount of swims. So just kind of learning from that perspective, but also learning that I feel like most meets I've ever had, once I have a bad swim, that's pretty much it for me. Like I've had a trend of like being pretty bad after one bad swim. So tonight I texted my parents after the race. I was like, I think that might be the most proud I've ever been after a swim, just because I bounced back after a couple of disappointing swims and finished it well.
Yeah, I'll say it's just like, for me, like a lot of learning part is just the experience of racing at this level. Like the 200 free final, racing a heat with 4 144s and like me 45.0, it was like I never experienced anything like that before. And I think I learned it well. And what I didn't do, I think, in the relay is like swim my own race and try and stay in my own lane and kind of let like the field like mess with my head a little bit. So I think I learned that like just swim my own race, and that'll help me both individual 200 and future relays.
Yeah, absolutely. And then last question, just looking to before this meet, can you give us a little about just how training camp was, what Singapore was like, and what your experience there was like, who you were training with, what coaches you were training with, and how you feel like that went heading into this meet?
Singapore was awesome. Singapore is extremely nice. USA Swimming always takes care of us very well. We're lucky to be American and to be a part of this team, and definitely don't take that for granted. And I think that I kind of get reminded of that when I go on these trips, is that how lucky I am to get to represent the US and just be a part of USA Swimming. Singapore was great hospitality. Training camp, obviously we're lucky enough to have a coach here, Eddie. So he was taking care of us. I mean, Wyatt was also sending me sets. So Wyatt also had a part to play in my training camp and my lead up into this meet. So I'm very thankful for him. But all the coaches, I mean, training camp is more just about team camaraderie and getting everyone excited. So Coach Nesty gave us some really great pre-relay speeches. He was kind of in charge of the 8 free relay. So really enjoyed that as well. So everything about training camp was really good, but I'm very ready to get home to the States.
Yeah, I'm very similar to Carson. Training camp was awesome. It was such a cool experience to be just with the whole team USA, and you're like hanging out with the guys all day, go practice, sleep. It's the same thing every day. It's super fun. And like just getting ready for the meet, I found it. I had a really good time, and Singapore was awesome city, and USA Swimming definitely puts us up for it. And it was great. So super thankful for that. And training, I'm basically same as Carson, under Eddie. Wyatt sends a set here and there. And same Nesty before the relay gave great advice and really got us fired up, and it worked well, obviously.
Awesome. Well, hey, congrats, guys. Thank you so much for taking the time to sit down and chat, and hope the last 2 days of the meet, even if you don't swim, go well for you.
Thank you.
Thank you.